Hey, Joe.
Hello there. What's going on?
It's weird because, well, let me tell you, Joe. First off, I made a poor choice this morning, but I'll get through that. Secondly, no matter how much I try, what are you doing right now?
I'm riding the car.
You're riding in a car?
Yep.
Solid. I was wondering, because it sounds like you're sitting out on your deck enjoying the rain.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, basically. Only, inside.
Wonderful.
Inside, outside.
Wonderful. Um, it's weird that, we keep sitting here thinking about changing the theme song to this show. And then I listened to our theme song of the show, and it's just so good.
Right? I was just thinking that. I was listening to it going, man, are you sure you want to change this? Because I really like it.
Well, because normally we only hear about 15 seconds of it, if that. I think it's
Right.
only 9 seconds now. I think we really cut down to 9 seconds. But then when I keep hearing it, I'm like, jeez, it's that bluesy sound. It's an original song by a friend of mine, and they don't play together anymore. Geez, I don't even know. God, it could be our theme song forever. I don't know. Chris, I see you could call in, man. This is not like the JFW one that we do. This is different. This is a different way of doing this, and I'm excited to see how it works out.
Hey, Trevor. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, Chris?
All right.
Awesome. So, hey, Joe, I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to need a favor from you.
Okay.
So, because it sounds like you're wandering through a rainforest.
You want me to mute when I'm not talking?
Exactly. I really appreciate that, yeah, because your microphone is so crisp. It brings up everything. And as much as I love background music or background sounds and stuff, your sounds are the exact sounds I listen to when I go to bed. And I don't want to doze off in the middle of my conversation with Chris.
I respect that. It's been making me feel sleepy while I've been riding. So.
I got you. Guys, we're trying a different recording way of doing this, and I'm excited to see how it goes. We're recording through Podbean Live, which I typically do for the JFW SCW live streams, and typically we do this freaking show through Skype, or we do the live from time to time. But we're gonna interview Chris here, and Chris, I don't know why I keep thinking I'm gonna screw up your last name, but it is Freiberg.
That's right. It's Freiberg.
Yeah, God, I love how you articulate everything you say. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I know it looks like Freiberg, but it's Freiberg.
Right? It should be Freiberg.
Yeah, it's a German thing.
If your last name was Freiberg, I think would you be more hesitant to fly in airplanes?
Maybe a little bit.
Right. That's a Freebird joke for all of you out there who didn't get that. I know you got it because you're an intelligent man, and we're going to talk about that too. I want the biggest thing we're going to talk about obviously is your journey through weight loss. Because it's the very first thing I heard about you from Hunter Payne. But I also want to talk, and I don't know if she is there, but your fiance's with us as well.
Yep,
I'm here.
Yep, here's Tara.
Yeah, Tara. Okay, awesome. Because in my mind, I'm like, is it Tara? Is it Tara?
It's Tara.
Tara, perfect. Well, thank you for being a part of this too.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I heard you might be a little bit nervous.
A little bit. I don't normally do these things.
Perfect. Well, if there's one thing I know is usually when people are nervous being on calls with me, it kind of goes away really quick because it's not really. I don't know if you ever listened to any of our shows, and Joe could back us up whenever he's done, expeditioning or expedite. What the hell is that word, Joe? When you wander through shit,
exploring.
Yeah, no, the other word.
I'm not sure which one you're looking for.
It's like exploring, but
like on an expedition.
There we go.
I don't know if you can make it a. What is that? A gerund or participle? I don't know.
A verb?
Yeah.
expediting. I don't know. This is
Expediting is how you speed things up.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, this is how the show goes. So at any point you feel this is stupid, well, you're stuck with me. You agree. It's happening. Um, and to be honest with you, I'm really nervous about this too because whenever I interview somebody for the first time, I always want to make a really good impression. And I've interviewed Chris in a sense, more or less. I interviewed Warren C. Freiberg the third Esquire. But I don't really want to interview the wrestler just yet. I may let you do something goofy at the end here because we're still wrestling fans. Why the hell not throw it in here? But I want to interview the real guy, and I want to interview. Holy crap, Tara, right?
Yep, Tara.
I'm gonna forget that through this, and it's nothing on you. It's how my mind works. I blank on things a lot, and I hate that about myself. It's one of the things I hope to fix one day through my own journey. But I want to talk to you as well because, looking through, articles and, Facebook posts and everything, you were a huge part of this journey for Chris, and I want to hear from you as well about it. So Chris, the first thing I want to talk about though is more about who you are, as a person.
Okay.
Because Joe, who asked me something that he never asks me, is, hey, what's his name? Because I want to do some research. I was like, Joe, we don't research people. We just bring them on and we just figure it out as we go. And I usually do that as a guy who interviews wrestlers because I'm still a wrestling fan and I want to learn about the guy. Like, I don't want to know a bunch of things and just ask the questions I already know the answers to. That's just, to me, that's a little bit boring. I want to, figure it out on the fly, if you will. But I did Google your name. And there were a few things that came up that I think I remember us talking about, but I don't think there was ever like a lot of detail about what we talked about. We know you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
Anyone who listened to your interviews, who read the articles, know that you are a true to life lawyer for the state of Indiana.
Illinois, actually.
Yeah, whatever. Same thing.
Close enough. Yeah.
It's the Midwest, bro. Don't question me now. I know what you're thinking. Oh, this is horrible. It doesn't get better. This is it. This is where we're at. This is the other side of travesty that the wrestlers don't get. So you're a lawyer for Illinois. Why do the articles say you're a Northwest Indiana lawyer?
Because I live in Northwest Indiana, but I'm licensed in Illinois.
Okay, so it's the article's fault. It's not mine.
Yeah, that just wasn't clear.
Yeah, that should have been clear. That's on them. Thank you, Northwest Indiana newspaper.
Yeah, we don't have great papers here.
They snuck in Manichaeist, though, so, props for that.
Just comes in, yells, and leaves. I love this dude. But I also found something called Den Geek. What is that?
Yeah, Den of Geek, that is a website that's been around for about 15 years, focusing on various nerdy parts of culture, video games, movies, TV, a little bit of wrestling. That's a website I started writing for in 2016. I just do the video game stuff. I used to do more reviews for them, but now it's just kind of like generally whatever they ask me to write about video games.
So you're still active in that?
Yeah. Actually, I just got an assignment from them yesterday that I'm going to start working on here soon about the old NES.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
The Nintendo, the 8-bit Nintendo.
I don't even know what that is.
You ever played Nintendo?
I played I've played a Nintendo before.
Like Super Mario Brothers, Metroid, Zelda.
I don't know, dude. I was more of a Sega PlayStation guy. I've played Nintendos that were owned by other people, like the big gray box that you have to blow in the cartridge to make it work. I've played that. What is that?
That's the NES.
Okay, so it's the one that never worked.
Yeah, that one.
Excellent. So I played that one. I played Nintendo 64. I played the GameCube. But mostly, like, my life in video gaming is PlayStation, and I had a Sega Genesis. That was beginning of it all, if you will. But that's really awesome. Actually, Joe, he's known by Cartoon Joe here, but at the very beginning of this, he was known by Geekcash Joe, because if there's one thing you can learn about Joe, he'll promote the shit out of his other podcast over here as much as he can. So he used to be known as Geekcast Joe because he's on a podcast called Geekcast Live. He actually said he used to read Den of Geeks before, so maybe he read some of the articles.
Yeah. I mean, I've written probably more than 100 articles for them over the years now.
Oh, geez. What was your favorite article?
I just like doing the reviews because you used to get free copies of video games, but they haven't done that in the last couple of years.
Monsters.
I will say I did one, and this was years ago, about, I think it was like the top 15 or 20 wrestling video games. That was a pretty fun one.
What was your top wrestling video game?
No Mercy.
Okay. See, for me, it was Here Come the Pain. Loved it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that would be up there, but I mean, I had an N64 when it came out. I got No Mercy like a month after it came out and spent so much time with that game.
I did play. It was God. I think it was No Mercy. Was that the one where like, so when the guys would run out to the ring, like their torso would stay in place, but their arms would move? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't think. Oh, I think that was SmackDown on the PS1.
No, this was definitely Nintendo. This was a Nintendo 64 game. A buddy of mine had it, and I want to say it was No Mercy, where like it was the Royal Rumble, and like the guy would come out. But all it would show like a zoomed up look of him, and you see from head to stomach, and he's running to the ring, but his torso is standing still as his arms, which are too big for his body, regardless of who it is running to the ring. I want to say it had to have been No Mercy.
Maybe I don't remember that.
Go play No Mercy and let me know.
Yeah, I got it in my closet somewhere. I'd have to pack it.
I know for a fact you do. Just hearing about you so far screams I have an Atari still.
No, I never had an Atari, actually.
I don't believe you.
No, I grew up on the NES.
Awesome. Well, that's perfect. So you do Den of Geeks. You're a lawyer. How is being a lawyer? Because I watch Suits. I just finished that series. And a lot of shady shit. I think it actually gives lawyers a bad rap. I have no problem with lawyers. Well, I think honest to God, about, I'm going to go 70%, maybe 67. I don't want to sound, embellish it too much, that they're all good people.
I would say that's fair. Most of the lawyers I've met really are good people who are trying to help their clients out.
Yeah, and it's weird, not weird, but I do sympathize for certain lawyers, like the ones who defend criminals, who are like, because, and again, I know nothing about lawyers. You correct me if I'm wrong. I hope you do. But like, there are lawyers who know that their clients are guilty, but you got to defend them anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do criminal law. I just do Social Security disability. But, my version of that, I take the cases. It's like, I know this is not going to fly. This guy told me, oh, yeah, if I could find the job, I could do it. But you do the best you can. Yeah.
Yeah, but is there a point in, because again, the only knowledge I know of for lawyers is Suits, the small parts of Law and Order SVU, the movie Liar Liar. So this is where I get my knowledge on judicial systems. So when I look at it, what my perspective of lawyers are is, here's a guy who has a client that they know is shady, that they know they're in the wrong, but it's their duty to get them the win in court. Now, is that factual?
It depends on what you're doing. A lot of the criminal defense work is that, where it's like, they've got the guy on video, he admitted it, you're just trying to get him the best deal that you can. I think when you get into the higher levels, the corporate deals, it's like everybody is shady, everybody's screwing each other over. I think those are a lot of the lawyers who just don't care. What I do, it's genuinely trying to help people who cannot work. Sometimes you get people who are kind of mistaken about the system. They get hung up on, well, I can't do my past job. And it's like, well, yeah, I get that. We agree on that, but the standard is you can't do any job. And so I do what I can for them. And, sometimes you can win, sometimes you can't. There's a lot that goes into it. If you get somebody who's just straight up trying to scam the system, either you get them to drop their case, or, I mean, I've had a couple of times I've gone into the hearing and said, yep, this guy's trying to pull this. Do what you need to do, judge. I'm not putting my license on the line for him.
Mm. What made you get into becoming a lawyer?
Well, before I was a lawyer, I was a journalist. And my first job after college was actually in Fairbanks, Alaska. And I started covering the court system up there, which was really, really weird. I mean, Alaska is a weird place overall. But I'd see a lot of bad lawyers, I thought. And after a while, it was like, I think I could do this better than a lot of them. And I thought I could help people more and actually explain things to them, because even though it was criminal court, a lot of the times public defenders, they'd be talking to the victims and victims' families and just kind of blow them off. And it's like, I can at least give people a better idea of what's going on with their cases. And that was really sort of the start of me being like, okay, I think I can do this, and I can do this very well.
Awesome. So you're like a superhero, man. That's awesome.
I don't know about that.
No, you can say it. It's okay. It's fine. It's totally fine. 100%. Trust me, dude. Like I said, I mean that sounds incredible, because in my mind, like I said, about 67% decent guys.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's just. I mean, there's weird, but I mean, I think that's pretty cool. Because I don't know a lot of people who have like those like higher white collar jobs. And when I sit here and I think oh, it'd be cool if I had a friend. And I'm not saying we're friends, I don't want to put that on you yet. Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah, well, get to know me a little bit more before you make decisions. Come on now. But like, when you think of like lawyers and doctors, like those, accountants, whatever, like you think that there's like an entitlement feeling that they have. But you're a very down to earth dude. And I mean, a lot of guys, who are lawyers and stuff, I don't see them ever like really getting involved in pro wrestling like you did. But I do love talking to you at the school, and after the shows and stuff, and we'll dive more into that as we progress through this. But your journey, your weight loss journey, started from, if I read the article right, your a lot of your weight gain came from working as a journalist, correct? Or were you always a bigger guy, like from being a kid?
Yeah, I was always pretty big. I mean, in high school, I did amateur wrestling, and the weight limit on that was 275, and I was always like right around 270. So I was always pretty heavy, and that was probably from like the end of high school onward.
Yeah,
I could gain more and more.
Yeah, because and the biggest reason, and I don't want to sound selfish here, but the biggest reason I wanted to talk to you about your journey is because it seems like you and me are very mirrored in that sense. Like, I feel like I'm like maybe like 4-5 years behind where you are today. And first off, how old are you, Chris?
39.
39. Perfect. Okay. So that's going to be important for what I'm going to say later on in the show. But when I read the articles and hear the interviews and talk to you and everything, all I kept thinking to myself is like, wow, this dude is just like me, struggle with weight and everything. Because when I was a kid, and I don't know, how it is with you, but like I remember certain weights that I was at certain ages.
Yeah.
Like I remember like when I was 12 years old, I was 180 pounds. And I never got really made fun of for being like a bigger kid yet. I mean, that didn't come until I think like 8th grade, freshman year of high school and stuff. I did try to do the amateur wrestling in school. I think I was like 210 in 7th grade trying to do the amateur wrestling, and which sucked because it put me in like the last weight bracket that they had. And the guy that my first and only match I ever had, because I did it once and I was done, is they put me in a match with an 8th grader who was 245. Oof. and he destroyed me. And it was very defeating because, like, you think a coach who, and I get wrestling coach and, football coaches, they have to be, hard on their guys to motivate them to be better. But that's not how I work. I don't do well with people, telling me that I screwed up. I'm more of a, hey, it happened. Let's work on getting it better, encouraging, not tearing somebody down continuously. Which sucks, which is weird for me because I am at a point in my life where I developed this whole let's tear somebody down to build them back up, which I'm trying to get better at. But after this dude destroyed me, and like I think I got to round 2, but he ended up falling straight on me, knocking the wind on me, cradling me, pinning me and stuff. But I've always been a big dude. I think I graduated high school at I think like 290. I was 310 by the time I was 21, and then I dated this Italian girl whose family did nothing but eat. And after she dumped me, she left me, at like 390 or some shit. And I relate a lot of my weight gain to, and this is, not, accurate for me. It's not something that should be true, but every time I fail, I would eat. If I failed at anything, I would eat. It's like, oh, well, there you go. You screwed up again. Go eat, Jersey Mike's and shit like that. Yeah. So I right now, as I sit here, I am at the heaviest I've ever been. And you, I think you capped off at like 407 or something like that.
Yeah, that's the heaviest that I know. I was at 407.
God, you're lucky, brother. You're so fucking good. So I'm jealous of that.
Maybe caught it right in time.
Yeah. What did you do? What if you could look back, what habits? Hey, look at that. Humble Dog just said I just did a quick search on Mr. Freiberg, some cool stuff. I see he even published in Hustler. That's true you did, right?
Yep, that is 2 articles in Hustler back in the day.
Yeah, how'd you get involved in that?
So this goes back about 20 years ago to when I was in college, and in a lot of ways, the world was very, very different back then. And I was doing a lot of work for the college paper. And one of the stories that came along is there was this girl on campus named Teen Kira, and we figured out that she was shooting a porn site in her dorm room. And so the school was very interested in, why are you shooting porn in our dorms? And this was at Indiana University, where like a year prior, a porn company had come down there and done a whole shoot. So the school launched an investigation, and I wrote the articles, and it became this big thing. And Hustler actually reached out to me after the first or second article and said, hey, we're interested in this girl's story. Would you like to write an article, and we'll pay you $500? And I mean, I'm 19 years old. I was like, hell yeah, Hustler, $500. I'm completely down for that.
Nice. That's pretty cool. And so you did the 2 articles, and that was about it?
Yeah. Just did those 2. I actually still have the first one. It's hanging up in my office.
That's really cool, man. So growing up, did you have parents who kind of ever questioned your weight? Because I have that, and I'm just wondering. I want to really connect with other people who fucking live this life. So did you have parents who ever questioned your weight?
Yes and no. My dad was never really big on it. He never ate really well, and he passed away actually in 2000 when I was in high school. My mom would get on me sometimes about it, but in the article I know it kind of touched on this. It was such a weird upbringing because it would be like, oh, you need to watch your weight and what you're eating sometimes. But she also owned a candy store for most of the 90s. So it would be like, oh, watch your weight. And here I'm bringing home, 5 pounds of candy. Or, oh, I have to go and work a couple shifts at the store. Oh, hey, you're not really doing anything. Here, you want some of this new chocolate that came in. So it was very conflicting and difficult to really watch what I was eating and be healthy at that point. And that's really something that, continued into adulthood. I mean, my mom hasn't had that store since the year 2000, but at that point I'm getting older. Eventually I'm off to college. I'm living on my own. So I'm really not paying attention to what I'm eating at all at that point. I mean, every now and then, yeah, she would be like, "Oh, have you thought about doing something?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, okay, I've thought about it." But I mean, the thing was for the longest time, it's like, I was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but it really wasn't affecting my life. I felt fine for the most part. So that's why I really didn't do anything about it.
Yeah. So okay. So so growing up, were scales ever a thing? Like, did you ever sit there so for example, for me, and I'm not gonna try to make this about me. I do that a lot in these interviews where I try to, oh yeah, this is what happened to me, and I'm gonna try to avoid doing that a lot here. But um, when I was younger, again, I had parents. My mom was the more like sentimental part. It's like, hey, let's get you in this workout thing during the summer. You can do it with your buddies, and you guys can go like exercise, but it's fun. And my dad would be like, let's go outside. I'll tie a rope around your waist. Keep up with the truck. And so they had their own little ways of telling me, hey, it's time to lose weight and stuff. But through high school, like I would always find myself stepping on a scale just to see what the number is. And every time it got bigger, it's like, okay, Travis, this way you gotta knuckle down, you gotta eat better, you gotta work out, blah 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 blah. And I do it for like a couple weeks, and then it falls off, and that was my pattern. Do it for a couple weeks, fall off, couple weeks, fall off, and even into adulthood, I even do it now. Like I look at the scale and I see the number, and I'm like, come on, dude, like that's it. You're done. After this weekend, you start fresh on Monday. Like this is it. Did you ever have those moments like, as you got older of like you see the number, like I gotta fix this, but for some reason you're just not finding ways to fix it?
Yeah, I mean, in high school, I was watching my weight because I had the wrestling, so I always had to stay under 275. My senior year, though, that's when I stopped doing football and wrestling because I was focusing more on the journalism and college. And I know when I graduated, I was around 300 pounds. I know my freshman year of college, I was around 330. I might not have weighed myself then for about 7 years or so, because then I know. My last reporting job when I lived in Arkansas around 2011, at one point I was up to about 384 then. And then my solution was, if you've ever seen the documentary Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, I stumbled on that on Netflix, and I did some juice fasting, and I got down to like 310 or so. But, that's not really sustainable if, I'm going to drink nothing but fruit juice for a week or so and then just go back to whatever I'm eating. So I did get down to like 310, 315 right before I started law school. But then, when you're studying all the time, completely lost track of things. And then I remembered in 2017, I think, 16, 17, I went to the doctor at one point, and the scale there was like an old fashioned one. And they're like, well, it goes up to 350 and you're over 350 again. But they didn't know exactly how much I weighed. So it was very sporadic checking in on my weight over the years, just knowing, I was getting bigger. It's like, I was wearing a 3XL, now I got to do a 4XL, that type of thing.
Yeah. So what was the moment like? So the moment before you started the journey that you took now, what happened to where the decision was made? Like this is the absolute time I have to absolutely change. What was that moment?
It all really started in October of 2020. That's when we got COVID, and I was sick for about a month, and Tara was sick for maybe even
4 months.
Yeah. I mean, that what really kind of triggered things was the residual issues, and I was having trouble breathing and having the memory fog. And my mom was like, just go to the doctor, get checked out. And so I started going to the doctor for the first time in years, and that's when I got weighed for the first time in 5 or 6 years. And what really triggered it was I found a doctor that I liked here in Crown Point, Indiana, and he's like, you're diabetic and your blood pressure is through the roof. And the diabetes diagnosis is really what scared me straight. And a lot of that goes back to the disability work that I do and seeing the worst case scenarios with diabetes, with the people who have the really, really bad neuropathy, that it hurts to walk, it hurts to use their hands, and then seeing like the amputations and the open wounds. And at that point I was 36 years old, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna be stuck on all of these meds and dealing with all of this at this age. And my doctor said, well, I'm gonna give you 3 months to figure this out, or I'm gonna put you on meds. And I don't think he really had any faith in me at the time, but that was the start of it.
Gotcha. It was I think for me, the moment was realizing I needed to get a scale that went up higher.
Yeah,
that was my thing. Once the scale started saying error, I'm just like, oh, you fat fuck, and that's the thing. Like I hated that. I hated that doctors have to be honest.
Yeah.
For me, in the sense, like, because I used to work for a company where they would give, like, free annual, like, blood drawing, like, whatever. So they draw your blood and they run all these tests and everything, and it was covered by the insurance. So you didn't have to worry about paying anything. And I think at that time I was like 425. And I kept thinking to myself, like, they're going to come back and they're going to tell me I have high blood pressure. I'm going to have high cholesterol. I'm on the verge of diabetic. I'm going to lose a foot, quit eating fatty, anything like this, which in my mind is like, if they told me this, it's going to be a wake-up call. And it's going to be, okay, now my health is being affected. The only thing they told me is I just have too much salt intake. And I was like, well, what about, like, my blood pressure and, everything? He's like, no, everything else is fine. And I'm like, how is that possible? And the lady's like, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. But according to your test, everything is fine. The only problem is you have too much salt. Or I have low, I basically too much salt. But I was doing a keto diet at that time too. Because I found success in the keto diet. Not so much anymore, but back in the day I did. And I think a lot of my success had to do with my mental stability, or whatever. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but whatever it is. Joe, I don't know if you're able to respond, but my mental whatever. Because I find myself doing a lot better in life when I'm in relationships. If I'm dating somebody, like when I did the keto diet in 2018, I had a girlfriend, and during that time I lost 60 pounds, and it was fantastic. And then she dumped me because she's a bitch. And I end up gaining all that weight back and then some. And I'm just like, oh God. And I'm at a point now where I can't blame her for it anymore. It is on me. Weight loss is 100% on the person, not on, anyone else who caused them to feel that way. And I know a lot of people think that that's maybe not true, but for me, I believe it's 100%. It's not on her. She did nothing. All she did is just come into my life for a certain period of time and then just left. It's me who stuck around and did this. Tara, I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk now. Let me know if you're ready. You can see this is very calming and fun, right?
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
That's how a lot of my listeners listen to my show. Yeah. Tell me about how you and Chris first got together. Where did that start?
On a dating website, OkCupid.
Oh my God, I used OkCupid. Actually, it was probably my favorite one. I think I did it in 2010. Now it's garbage, complete dog shit.
Yeah,
it's a horrible app now.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, so when did you guys first get together?
Gosh, we talked for a little while, for about a couple weeks, and then got together.
How long ago was that?
13.
Gosh, 2013. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you guys been together for a while.
Yeah, 10 years.
So you were
February.
Yeah.
So you were with Chris at his thickness era.
Oh yeah, like when he was in law school, we were doing grocery shopping at the dollar store, getting chips and like all the crap, and because that's all we could afford at the time. So
Tara, bless you. It's women like you that make this world a better place. Because I'm going to tell you why. Because I've gone on first dates, and I honestly believe that the only reason there isn't a second one is because they see me walk through that door, and Ghostbusters goes through their fucking head, and like, oh hell no, So good for you. Way to give a person an opportunity.
Yeah.
So, anyways, okay. So you guys got together in 2013. How continue with that. I want to hear from that up until because one of the biggest things was your health food kind of helped him through this journey. How did you get into the healthy eats idea?
Well, it's funny because when he went to the doctor, he came home and he was like, "We got to change everything." I kind of went into panic mode because I'm like, nobody's gonna take my pizza away from me, nobody's gonna take my Taco Bell away from me, junk food, all that stuff. I'm a big chips person.
Yeah.
I was like, we're gonna break up. It's not gonna work. And the healthiest thing we had in the fridge that time was like some tuna thing that he didn't like. And he's like, oh no, this is not going to work. He's like, I'm going to the grocery store. We're going to do cereal, salad, and then a protein, probably salmon mostly. And I said, I can't do that. This is just not going to work. And then one day, that's all he bought all the time. I'm like, you're going to have to change it up. If you don't change it up, you're going to get bored and you're going to fall off. That's how it's happened with me all my life. You get into this health craze. You're like, okay, I'm doing great for like 4 months. And then you're like, I'm tired. I'm tired of the salads. I'm tired of the healthy stuff. I want a cheeseburger. So I said, we got to do something different. Let me kind of take control. We'll do meal prepping. Well, I guess I'll do meal prepping. And I kind of just started doing research on, low carb, get rid of the breads, get rid of the pastas, see what I can do to substitute those things. So it was like a low carb, low sugar, got rid of all the junk food, threw it all out, gave it to people at work, cut out alcohol. We didn't drink alcohol for how long? Like 6-7 months.
Those first 3 months, I think I had like one drink.
Yeah, it was a lot. No fast food. We didn't have fast food we still don't have fast food.
Yeah, other than Wendy's salads.
Yeah,
I really don't.
So it's been 3 years since fast food.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Yeah, so we stuck to the cereal, the salads for lunch, and then usually salmon. And it kind of turned into the Mediterranean diet. So a lot of salmon and feta and things like that. That kind of helped us.
I gotcha. Real quick, before we continue, Chris, do you feel, and just be honest with me, you can say yes, you can say no, I don't think you'll hurt my feelings or Tara's. Do you feel that you would be able to achieve what you have without her?
No, I really don't think so. I don't think it would have gotten this far. I think I would have had trouble sticking with it. I don't think I would have lost as much without her.
Right. And I think that's what is really cool about this story, because granted, you did the work, man. I want everyone to know that the weight loss and everything has to come from you, but having that support system is huge when it comes to journeys like this.
Well, and Tara does do like 99% of the cooking.
Well, that's solid. God, I need a Tara in my life.
I think a lot of people need me in their life. They're like telling me on Facebook, oh, can you please cook me like meal prep for the week and things like that. And I appreciate that. It's just, I need a bigger kitchen.
Well, see, I think that's incredible that people are acknowledging that and everything. And and that's the biggest reason why I wanted to have both you guys on, because I mean, obviously I want to talk to Chris and, talk about the guy who, lost all that weight, and was able to, achieve a goal of his, but also that support system that came along with him that got him to where he is today. And I think a lot of people who are those support systems, who are those the person behind the person, they kind of get lost in the shuffle. And I know Chris has done a great job in mentioning you, and why not? It's amazing. I mean, you guys are engaged. He doesn't want he wants to give credit where credit is due. And I'm glad he did that, because that's how I found out that you were a part of this. And that's how I found your Instagram and everything, because I'm a media creep, and I rabbit hole things, and I was like, okay, so his fiance does the meal things. And I went on his Facebook, saw he was engaged, found your Instagram. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I see the pictures, of all the food and stuff you post. And I'm like, damn, I'm hungry. And, but I think that's really incredible. Random question: alcohol of choice that you gave up. What was the hardest one to give up?
I like the hard stuff, so margaritas and
margaritas.
The sweet stuff. I'm a sweet girl, so I like all the sweet high sugar stuff.
Okay, let me take a guess. A blended strawberry margarita.
Yeah, but now Santa Fe has those rainbow margaritas, so that's where I go.
I don't know why, but it's always a blended strawberry margarita. I am a lime margarita on the rocks kind of guy. Every time I go on a date, my go-to date is taco margarita night. That's my go-to first date. And every time the person across the table, can I get a blended strawberry margarita? I'm like, of course you are. What about you, Chris? What was your go-to drink that you gave up that was the hardest?
Well, now it's not totally alcohol free. I mean, I do drink now. It was that.
I've seen you at Steam Hollow. Yeah.
So don't say I don't drink it all because I definitely.
But I'm talking about like at the time, because the biggest thing for me is self control. I have bad self control. Soda, fast food, smoking, drinking. I can't give everything up at once, or else I'll forget. I'll fail at all of it. But for you at that time, when you were told no drinking for 9 months, whatever that, what was the one you gave up that was the hardest?
Those first few months, I was so focused. I really didn't even miss alcohol at all.
No, you.
I mean, I was super focused those first few months.
Gotcha. Joe was asking, what cereal did you have? Was it just Honey Nut Cheerios?
That I'd mix up with a few different things. I like Raisin Bran, Crunch, Special K. What's that honey
bunches of oats?
Yeah, that one.
So like high fiber stuff.
Yeah. There's this new granola cereal that we get every now and then.
Yeah, you just have to be careful with the sugar.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do what are you using? Milk, almond milk? Like what do you use for the cereal?
Just 2% milk on the cereal.
Oh, really? Okay, awesome. Yeah, I've always lived with that fat-free milk, so it's just water paste mostly.
Yeah, I think 2% is good enough.
I have been getting 2% lately, just because like I want to get like a little bit of like the fattier milk and everything. But I mean, honestly, like I do mix up from time to time. Like my whole family grew up on like skim milk, fat-free milk, and stuff like that. But I think one day I got whole milk, and I'm like, what the hell am I chewing? But I no, but I think that's great. So other than changing your eating habits, because it sounds like, and I think in the article said a lot of it was you're traveling for journalism is where you found a lot of fast food, gas station pizzas and stuff like that. And again, that's where we relate a lot, because I used to be an inspector where I traveled across the Midwest doing jobs, and my breakfast, lunch, and dinner was McDonald's breakfast, Taco Bell lunches, and whatever dinner I could find at any 7-Eleven on my way back home.
That actually was more from the disability work, because before COVID, I was traveling all over the place. Even though I'm licensed in Illinois, I can do the disability stuff all over the place. And there were some months I was putting 5,000 miles on my car. I would go to Iowa, Missouri, Southern Illinois, Southern Indiana, go up to the office in Minnesota, and I'd have like 7, 8 overnight trips a month. And, I get the per diem, and it's, I'd be in these small towns. It really is all you can get is fast food at best, maybe Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that. There just weren't many healthy options. So I think that did contribute a lot to the weight gain. But then once COVID hit, everything was moved to over the phone. So I'm home all of the time and not on those trips. In the first few months of COVID, because we didn't want to go to the grocery store, that's when we were stocking up on a lot of the processed foods. And I think that just made me heavier and probably contributed. Well, I know it contributed to the diabetes and the high blood pressure. So it was just kind of that wake up call then, and deciding to pull back at that point, and being able to work from home 99% of the time at this point also helps me focus and eat better.
Gotcha. I'm going to tell you right now, dude, you're probably the most articulate interview I've ever done. This is amazing.
Well, that's the lawyer in me.
Right. And this is going, nothing against the last like interview I did, but like, I think the last one, this is going a lot better than the last one, because I think that one, Joe, if you remember, I think I spent like half the time, motherfucking Oregon. Just because, he said he was from like the West Coast, and I hate the West Coast. So this is going phenomenal, by the way.
It is how it went.
And
right. I mean, he lived in Michigan, but he said he was from Oregon or Washington or some shit. And I'm like, that entire West Coast is bullshit to begin with. So this is going fabulous.
Well, and my parents were in radio, so from the time I could talk, I would go and do their radio shows. So I can do the talking radio podcast. That's not an issue for me.
right? If you never did the wrestling, and we're gonna get into that in a minute. If you ever decide to be an announcer, you could have crushed that too.
Yeah, but I like being in the ring.
Oh, I know. No, trust me. I'm just saying, if that was never, if you ever wanted to get into the business but not be a wrestler, if you chose to be an announcer, you'd crush it.
Yeah, but then I'd really have heat with Steve.
Oh God, Steve, that beautiful psychotic man. Tara, I didn't get a chance to touch on this a little bit, but did you go through school for like nutrition or health or anything, or like this whole like setting up meals for Chris? Was this just you just learned as you went, or did you go to school for that?
No, I mean, I just learned as I went, just did a lot of research. And now it's kind of like, because I went to Pinterest and things like that for ideas and what can we do to swap out things. And now it's kind of in my brain and I just do it. And but a lot of people don't know seasonings are like the biggest part of all this because nobody wants boiled chicken or, I have probably over 50 seasonings in my kitchen and you really need to make it flavorful because you're not going to eat it. So you got to have like all these different things that you can do. Search if you have to do Pinterest or Google, whatever, just to get some ideas. And then once you kind of learn them, you kind of do your own thing. And I can't even eat if I go to a restaurant now. I can't eat it because I'm like, this isn't. I could do better at home.
Oh geez, like you gotta start like carrying like spices in your purse with you. It's like, you know what, this is missing? Fucking tarragon. My whole spice cabinet is salt, pepper, and garlic powder.
Yeah.
Every recipe I look
spices out there.
right. Well, every recipe I look at is like, oh, you do just put in onion powder, and I was like,
Yeah.
I've never once. I've lived on my own now, going on 12 years. God, it's been that long. Yeah, somewhere around there. I don't think I've ever once owned onion powder. I've owned garlic powder, garlic salt. I've never used garlic salt because I always put salt.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what the hell is this? And then, like I said, I see words like tarragon, and I'm like, that's a fucking Pokemon. I don't believe that for a second. And my mom got me this as a housewarming gift, like this collection of spices that still to date are sitting in the back of my cabinet, like rosemary and stuff like that. I know nothing about spices, so whenever I have chicken, steak, pork, whatever it is, salt, pepper, garlic powder, salt. I will get fancy. I'll throw lemon on fish. Who wouldn't?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think that's cool that this is something that you just learned and you kind of like made your own. Is meal prepping and stuff like that? Is that something you're looking to like make a business out of? Because like you said, I mean, there's a lot of people who are asking you to kind of meal prep for them, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to it, and I always lean more towards the cons because, first of all, I need a bigger kitchen. But second, you think of okay, people with allergies and people. I just do my own thing. Me and Chris, we have limited allergies. Throw some stuff together. Then you have to think too much and be like, okay, well, I got to make sure there's no, nuts in this or whatever for people. And it becomes more like not fun. And because I consider this fun, like I do have a little bit of anxiety, so it does help me with that. And it won't be fun anymore if I'm kind of going out there and here you go, and then they're like, I hate your food or something like that. So I don't know. I kind of lean more towards the cons of it.
I got you. Well, it's one of the things like like you can hope for the best but expect the worst and everything, and then if as long as you expect the worst, there's always a way to counter the worst and everything.
Yeah.
I think it is really cool that that people are reaching out to you for you to, in a sense, save them like you did Chris.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people are responsible. Cook your own fucking food. Like, God damn it. It's like, oh, you do it for Chris. Why not do it for me? It's like, I mean, like, it's one of those things where, like, if you want to, you can send them the recipes that you're using. I know a lot of people, like, like TikTok and like Instagram, like they're like, hey, I'm Tara. Watch me make, chicken parmesan or whatever, like stuff like that. I think is a really cool thing to ever look into. But to sit there and like tell someone like, hey, Chris's fiance, I also need dinner. It's like, fuck yourself, dude.
People have done that. And I mean, we talk a little bit about selling it, and I think Well, as it is, Tara does post all of her recipes online freely if anybody asks for that. But if you're going to make it into a business, first of all, then like she said, you're going to deal with the allergens and you're going to have a health inspector coming in here. And I think people want this, but they don't necessarily understand. There's a cost. These are fresh ingredients and her time, and they might be like, "Oh, I want this," until it's $12 to $15 per meal, and then all of a sudden it's, "Oh yeah, I don't want to pay for that." So it sounds great in theory, but I don't think in practice it would necessarily be workable for us.
Well, see, and that's the thing I don't think people understand. And again, I don't want to put a lot of people in it because I'm the same way about it. Is I can never get past the logic of how the hell am I going to buy Hello Fresh when it costs that much money, and yet I could go spend $18 on Jimmy John's. My logic is not really computing right, because I know, like, if I go grocery shopping and I do all the things I need to do, like, I would spend less money than I would on fast food in like a week.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, honestly, I think that is one of the things that contributed to putting on the weight over the years, because the fast food is so much cheaper, and it is there. And I remember even when that day talking to my doctor, I was like, but it's so cheap to do this. And I mean, we do spend a good chunk of money on food, which fortunately we can afford that. But the way that I look at it is, I would rather spend the money on the food up front now than spend it on medications and treatment down the line.
Yeah, I think the lowest part of my life was how outraged I was when the value menu went away. I was like, you assholes! You took away my $1.49 burgers. It's so it seems to me the only difference between you and I is Tara.
that could be. I mean, like I said, she's 99% of it, and she's the one who's kept me going here.
Because dude, I hate cooking. I absolutely hate it. And it's not the fact I hate the cooking part of it. I hate cleaning up afterwards. If I could find a way to cook with like paper pans, so I can just toss away at the end, I'd probably end up doing it more often. I just hate having dishes. And when I had my ex in 18, we had a great system. I cook, she did the dishes, we ate dinner together. It was magical. So I just needed to find a Tara, and I too could be happy one day. It's phenomenal.
See, I was just very impatient with the cooking. I'd be hungry right now, and it's like, I don't want to sit here and do this for half an hour. I want to eat something right now. The way you can do that is then you make a sandwich or put something in the microwave, which is not going to be the healthiest thing to do.
Oh, geez, when you want grilled cheese, but you just like microwave like a piece of cheese on like some slices of bread.
I would at least put it in the pan. I'm limited in my cooking. I could do a few things.
Well, okay, fine. You're better than me. I don't know what to fucking tell you, Chris. Oh my god, you put it in the pan, asshole. No, that's great. Okay, so we know food was a huge part of this. You changed your diet. You started developing better habits. Tell me about the workout side of it. Did you start working out right away, or did you drop? Did you drop some weight before you got into the gym, or when did you start doing the physical work of it?
From the beginning, at the very start, I really didn't do much physically. I got this Ring Fit game for the Switch and played that for like a couple weeks. I mean, when you're 400 pounds, it's difficult to do too much. So really, the only exercise I did at first was walking the dog, which would be about 15 minutes a day. And I've got a couple of 20-pound dumbbells. So I think back then we were doing that pretty regularly, a few times a week. But initially, there was not much exercise, but just changing my diet, that got me under 300 pounds in a year.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think a lot of people do neglect or don't think about how much value there is in just simply just walking.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know I'm the guy who's I'm guilty of it more than anyone else. Is like, as soon as I get home from work, I just don't want to do anything. But just to incorporate like 20 minutes of walking or something once you get home instead of sitting on the couch it makes a huge difference in your life. It's that stationary lifestyle that really, affects people, and that affects me the most. I mean, I'm sitting here doing a podcast right now, in my chair, and all I think about is as soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna go catch up on all the wrestling from this past week, to get ready for the pay per view that's this afternoon. And I'm feeling like, geez, like that's a lot of sitting when there's weeds outside that need to be pulled.
So if you get a big dog, you got to walk that dog.
Oh no, I got a dog. He doesn't like going for walks.
Oh.
Like
Yeah,
he is. I think I fucked his dog up, Chris. I think he's seen me sit around for so long. He's just like, yeah, I guess I'll lay here too. And even now, like if we'll go outside, dude used to run around like a deer, like just a gazelle, running through my yard and everything, and circling it. And then I'd just be out there on my deck, enjoying my coffee or tea while I'm smoking a cigarette, just admiring the day before the asshole neighbor's dogs show up. And now he just goes outside, takes a leak, and just walks back inside. I'm like, what did I do to you, bud?
Yeah, well, even Lulu, I kind of have to push, but she'll go on a short walk if I really kind of make her do it.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing, though. Oh my god! I just realized I think I see my dog the way people see me. Holy hell! How'd you get into wrestling? What was your goal beforehand? Because I know the biggest thing the Hunter said was, dude, you gotta look at Chris, bro. Do I sound like him? Come on now.
Yeah, you do sound like Hunter there.
Right? Dude, you gotta look at Chris, bro. This dude lost like over 100, almost like 150 pounds, and he's a lawyer, and now he's gonna come wrestle, dude. He's coming to our school. And I was like, okay, calm the fuck down, brother. But I came to meet you and everything. So, how did you end up at SCW's training school? Well, first off, tell me the conversation. Tell me the conversation. Better yet, Tara. Tell me your reaction when Chris came up to you and said, like, I want to be a pro wrestler.
Absolutely not.
You were yelling.
Yeah, I was not happy. I'm like, you're too old for this. I mean, he's not old, but he's too old for this. I didn't want him getting hurt. And I was like, I'm not going to deal with somebody who gets hurt and then I have to take care of him. I mean, I would take care of you either way, but I just didn't want to have to go through that. And if he got hurt, I would feel awful.
I gotcha. So what changed your mind?
How happy it made him. He went through all, the eating for the whole year. He lost all this weight. Then the wrestling thing. And plus with COVID, I mean, he was working from home. So it was nice to get out and meet people again and be a part of something. And I saw his whole entire everything about him change. And now I'm his number one fan. So I still don't want him getting hurt. But I know Hunter takes good care of him and the guys. So that's the process.
I have been around a lot of not a lot of, but a handful of wrestling businesses in the Midwest area, and it's Hunter's best quality, but it's also his worst quality in that he has so much love and care for the guys in that school. It's a good thing because he Papa Bears the fuck out of them.
Yeah,
which is fantastic. But at the same time, Chris, I'm not saying this is you. I don't want you to put that into your head. But he does it to a point where there are certain people who take advantage of that.
Yeah.
But Chris, Vern, you guys aren't like that. You guys definitely, have a fond respect for him. There's other people, and we don't got to get into name them because they're not there. But there's a really cool community just within CW that I think kind of came about when that group of you guys came in. You, Johnny Chaos. I wish I remember the other guys' names, but they're irrelevant. Apex. Those guys. You're that new core because you guys came in all kind of like around the same time, I think.
Yeah.
It kind of changed everything because before you, there was Vern, there was Creed, JPH was already in the business, but he's still like learning and everything. Like you guys kind of evolved that community and made it more like of a family in a sense. I mean, they always were a family, but I wasn't really around that often for them. I was around mostly for you guys, especially helping with, booking high voltage stuff, help booking the main card stuff. And then, when you get, Hunter coming up to you and everything, it's like, hey, we got to get these guys in some matches. They're ready. And I'm like, fuck yeah. And I think, and I don't want to take all credit for it, but I think booking you in the high voltage title match was the happiest I've ever been. Just because, oh yeah. I don't know who's gonna tell you, dude. You being the champion, my fucking idea. Yeah. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know whose idea it was.
100% my idea. 100%. And I'm happy it did, dude, because you're crushing it as a champion. I'll tell you something a little behind the scenes here that, for anyone who listens, it's not really wrestling fans. They're more of like travesty fans, so it's not going to ruin anything for them if I tell you this. But I'm going to tell you something here in a minute. I just got to find my train of thought because I lost myself. God, I do this all the time. This is why I suck at interviews, by the way. See, you were nervous for this shit? Come on now. So your journey started in 2020 during COVID, and you got into school when? Was that? It was last fall, right?
It was March 2022.
March 2022. So when did you go up to Tara and say, I want to be a wrestler? Was it right before March 2022, or was it you were still working on your weight loss?
I think it was January of that year when I was right around 300 pounds, and it was just, I was feeling really, really good at that point. Like just, the best I'd felt in a long time. And I just started thinking, okay, is there anything I missed out on? Anything I'd like to try? And I think one of the things that kind of influenced me too is, have you seen that David Arquette documentary?
No, I haven't. Oh, wait. Which one was it?
The one, it came out in the last few years where after he had his heart attack, he started training and he went into pro wrestling full time here in his 40s.
No, I think I'm thinking of the Nick Cage Dark Side of the Ring that he was involved in. No, I haven't seen his documentary.
Yeah, well, that's part of it in the documentary, but I think that was one of the big things too. That kind of got in my head because I had watched that a few months before, where it's like, well, I'm a little bit younger. I think I could maybe give this a shot still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you went to your fiancée, and she said, "Fuck no."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it came from love, though, right? I mean,
oh yeah. She just doesn't want me getting hurt.
Now, before you went into the SCW, did you go back to the doctors and do your checkups? And because you said in one of your articles, you talk about how like you're diabetic and all that other stuff. Like, did that kind of dissipate as the weight loss was happening to where, the doctor said, "Hey, your health is a lot better." And did you even talk to a doctor about doing the wrestling?
Yeah, I think it was. I can't remember if it was like November of 2021 or January of 2022. When I saw him, and he's like, "Yeah, you're not diabetic anymore. Your blood pressure's under control." All I was taking at that point was a blood pressure medication. I think it was about a month into training. I did mention it to him, and I said, I know there's risks involved with professional wrestling, but in terms of my health, is there anything else particular to me I need to worry about? And he's like, no, you're fine. He still thinks I'm crazy doing it at my age. He's asked me that, how many guys in their late 30s start this? I said, well, I'm about the only one. But health wise, there shouldn't be any particular risks for me with it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you get into school, you get into the training. How'd you feel about your first day?
That was rough. I knew I was terrible at first, and that wasn't to be expected. Not doing anything like that in 20 years. And I know Hunter didn't expect me to last real long at first. The hardest part was that first month or so when I was just sore all the time when I came home, and I would just come home and just basically lay here and recover all the time.
Yeah. I could just imagine like Tara looking over you like, fucking told you.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly like that.
You want to do this to yourself?
So how is the weight loss going through training? I'm assuming, obviously, I think you kept dropping weight and everything, but how's the weight loss been going since you started?
So when I started, I was around 295 to 296, somewhere around there. I know I was just under 300. This morning I was 263, and I've been in the lower 260s here for a while.
Okay, so if we let's say so we'll say you've lost a total of how much now? 147.
I see I'm bad at math. 144. The lowest I know I've been at is 261.
That's awesome, man. That is really cool. And it's weird to think. And the reason I was asking about your age earlier is because everyone always wants to try to find an excuse for not working for them. And one of the biggest things is, the older you get, the harder it is. And I do agree with that, but it's not impossible. Being the fact that you're almost 40 years old and you achieve that is phenomenal, and I applaud you for that. And again, I'm giving a lot of credit to Tara because somebody always needs somebody like Tara behind them. Find your people out there. Go find a fucking Tara. Change your lives and everything, because it is really hard to go through life. First off, by yourself, single, and everything. It does suck. But like I said, like a lot of my motivations were with somebody I was with. If I had somebody in my life who was to tell me hey, let's make dinner tonight, let's not, go get an entire Casey's pizza and enjoy that for dinner and breakfast the next day. Or why don't you pack a lunch instead of, ordering Jimmy John's or Wendy's or Chipotle and shit like that, and spending $18 on a meal that's not going to, fill you up for the day. So Tara, I give you a lot of credit. I think that's really awesome that you were there through the worst of it, pretty much. You didn't come in on the end where the goals were achieved and everything. You were there from the very beginning, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, we were together as a team in this, so
nice. Yeah, right. And then you guys got engaged. Congratulations. That's awesome.
It's about time.
Well, yeah. What was it? 10 years you guys were together?
I think he's using me for my food.
Wow.
One of the coolest things now with you being SCW High Voltage Champion, and I don't want to say it was 100% my idea, but I do know, talking with Hunter and everything about who the next champion is going to be after Me Hooks. We know we wanted to do a heel, and I know I threw your name out there. And I know we talked about it and everything, and I think the biggest reason I wanted you to be champion is because you are such a douchebag in the ring that everyone would hate it so much.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about your character. Talk to me. Obviously being a lawyer is a no-brainer because that's who you are in real life. To create that character is simple. The way I mentioned lawyers earlier, as far as suits, stuff like that, I think that portrays perfectly the kind of lawyer gimmick you are. Is that guy that just really gets on everybody's nerves, who, when you're in the ring and you're above everyone anyways, you want people to acknowledge the fact that you are above them, not just in the ring, but it's almost a podium for you. Yeah. Tell me about how you decide, and you're using your real name too.
Yeah, pretty much, because Warren actually is my first name. The third got thrown on there. Somebody suggested that I do that. I had a few different ideas coming in. Because I've always been a huge fan of Undertaker. I was like, man, I'd love to do something supernatural, but it's I don't know how well that could work on a budget. I thought about maybe doing something based on Alaska, because I lived up there for a few years, but it's that would be maybe a little hard to develop, and how well is that really going to fly here in Illinois? And of course, the attorney thing from day one was there, and it's okay, of course I got to do that because I am an attorney. I've told a few people this, and Tara knows it. 90% of what I do is just based on my uncle, who's also an attorney. If anything, it's probably toned down from how he can be. We don't get along at all. I worked for him for about 9 months, right when I graduated law school, and we don't even speak anymore. it's that bad. Yeah, I mean, he just embodies a lot of those things that you imagine with lawyers, the worst of it, and it's just very easy to channel that.
Yeah, and I love the fact that first off, you got your inspiration from somebody, so it's not like you just like winged it. Like you know what you wanted to do. You saw what you did, and you just developed that into a character. But you didn't make it goofy. Because I mean, somebody could have been like, "Oh, I could be like a Southern lawyer. I could be Pacino for my cousin Vinny," or that's another lawyer one I know. So we can add that to the list of my lawyer knowledge, or the lawyer who is opposite of him, my cousin Vinny, the Southern guy who sounds like Colonel Sanders and shit. No, you went with a city lawyer. You're from the 70th something floor of the Sears Tower, and which I think really goes over well down here in the country towns that the shows are in, or not they're country-esque, because there's that entitlement coming down from the city,
Right.
to tell us how wrong we are.
Right, exactly.
And I love that about it. And like I said, I mean, it was one of the selling points the most in deciding the next champion. It's like, dude is a great fucking heel. Probably the biggest heel that we have in SCW. And the whole plan was, and this is a little inside baseball for people out there, and this is how much Hunter respects you, and so do I, is that this title was supposed to bounce around every couple months. And we're sticking it out because you're worth it, because you're so good at it. And when Hunter was telling me like, "Oh, we're gonna do a battle royal at Team Hollow," I was like, "Awesome, make it for the Genesis title." And then Cody came up with the finish. That was his idea, and I was like, "That's the perfect idea, like the absolute perfect finish to it." Because what better way to make a heel hated, but then to add more heat onto them?
Yeah,
and
it worked perfectly. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No, dude, it's wonderful because the thing is, you make it work. That's the best part about it. Tara, have you seen him wrestle?
I have.
And what do you think? Isn't it fun?
It's fun. I'll every once in a while be like, ooh, ow, like, ooh, I don't want to see him get hurt. But I get over it, and like I said, I'm his number one fan, so I'm there to support him.
That's good. That's awesome. Yeah, because I don't know if I've ever had a chance to meet you at one of the wrestling shows or not. Which I mean, I don't blame you. I know who I am. I was gonna ask Joe if he had anything to say, but he had ended up going. He had bad quality air, or not air quality. Technical difficulties. Who gives a shit?
Like lost in the jungle somewhere.
Yeah, he's living his life somewhere else. Who cares? He's fine. Road tripping down the world. When you won the title, you knew, right? He didn't leave that up to a surprise. You knew you were winning, correct?
Yeah, Hunter actually took me aside. It was like 6 weeks before that match, and says, "Don't tell anybody, but you're gonna take the title off of Meat Hooks." I was like, "Oh shit!" I was just like, "Thanks." I mean, I was just really surprised, and I mean, it was hard not telling anybody for that long, because then what, about a week and a half before, he told everybody else about the match, and then everybody's like, "Oh yeah, Meat Hooks is gonna kick your ass. It'd be great if you won the title." Oh yeah, it'd be really cool, wouldn't it? And I was joking with Tommy, the ref. I was like, "Yeah, Tommy, do a fast count, and I'll win the belt." And then it was only the day of. It was before Creed had me take a picture with the belt, and then everybody's like, "Oh shit, this is really happening."
Yeah, I do. I was so happy when you won it too, and it's a lot of fun to get involved in things like that. When Hunter asked me if I could help him book stuff and everything, like in my mind, I was just like, I don't know if I have time for it. Like that was my biggest thing. It's like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get this done or get this taken care of and everything. But why the hell not? I'm already there. Once a month for the shows doing commentary. I talk to Hunter like every other day about wrestling and how did the matches go at the shows. What do you think about this guy? Stuff like that. And it is a lot of fun, especially now that we got high voltage on the main card again. My idea. Love that it went through. Not a lot of ideas go through, but the ones that do, crushing it. But like when we decided to put high voltage on the main show, like we're only supposed to do it like 4 times a year, but now we're doing it every other month. And not only that, it's happening on the August show at Steam Hollow. And a lot of that credit is due to you guys at the school. You, Apex, Johnny Chaos, Creed and Hunter training you guys. Sheik, who's still, involved, El Dorado, Vern, all those guys, Tony. It's you guys who make those things happen. So the opportunities that you guys have, you guys created for yourself. And I think that associates a lot with this journey that you went on, is that you created this opportunity for yourself. You found a moment, and Tara's there too. I'm not gonna, don't forget. I don't think I forgot about you. Is you guys found a moment to say we need to change what is happening, and you did that. And 140 something pounds later, you became a high voltage champion at Southland Championship Wrestling, and you're still changing things even as a wrestler. And I think that's a really cool thing. And for everyone who watches the interviews, who reads the articles and everything, I don't want them to forget the fact that not only did you do this for yourself, but you're actually doing this for other people too. It's a huge motivation. And I get it. There's a lot of goofy ass people out there asking Tara to cook for them. Quit being lazy assholes. But it's also a credit. It also, I think it shows the respect that they have for her as well. And I think between the two of you, you're going to start motivating a lot of people to start doing what you did for yourself.
Yeah, and I'd hope we could do that, and that's the biggest reason why I've been so open about it and wanted to do that article, and I've done the podcast. I mean, I was so far gone in terms of my health in 2020. It's, I know that article said, oh, I was really depressed. I think maybe I was a little misquoted on that, but it was just neglect, just not caring. I'm just going to take the easy way out and eat what's here and ignore going to the doctor and everything. But when that moment came of, okay, I can either continue down this path and just get heavier and heavier and end up on all these meds and I'll probably be dead by 50 or something like that, it was time to change and fight back. And I think anybody can do that if they put their mind to it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. And I was never a big fan of people saying not people saying that they're depressed themselves, but other people assuming that they're depressed. Yeah. I have family members who, for some reason, have this idea that I am depressed because I don't leave my house and I all this other shit. And I'm a firm believer that there is a difference between being depressed and feeling defeated. And I think for me, like I'm not depressed in any way. I'm, other than my weight, other than my health, I am the happiest I've ever been in my life. I have a great job. I believe in Jesus, and I've had that faith my whole life, and I love that. I have a great I have a great group of friends. I have an amazing family. My life is great, except for the weight loss and the dieting and the stuff that I just, for some reason, can't crack the code on yet. And to me, that's more of a defeat than a depression. And I think what it is, I think you're going to find people who are depressed, who are going to find this motivational and encouraging for them to achieve. And the people who are defeated are going to find a way to figure it out. And again, that's the whole reason I wanted you both on here, because if Tara could do it for you, she probably has the ability to do it for a lot of other people. Yeah. And you made that very clear when people are asking you to cook for them. But you do say, and I'm talking to Tara now, you say you post your stuff up on social media. Where can people find that?
So right now I just have the Instagram account, Tara's _healthy_eats. So I do put a lot of the recipes and how to cook the things on there. And that's the only vehicle I have right now. I haven't gone any further with that. I do want to start doing videos as well, because I think a lot of people just, they read something, they're like, I don't know, I don't know what to do with this. So I think I want to start doing videos, and I think people watching them, it may get them to be like, oh yeah, I can do this. It's really just taking out the carb stuff and putting veggies in its place. That's the main secret to all this. Get rid of all that stuff, and you've got it made. It's a whole lifestyle change. And that's how I think we succeeded. And it doesn't taste bad. It really doesn't.
Really great.
Yeah. As long as it's not bland. Get your seasonings.
Yeah. Go pick up some tarragon. No, I think that's wonderful. I do hope you get into videos, because I rabbit hole videos on TikTok all the time. There's a couple of dudes on TikTok who talk about how they lost 100+ pounds in a year and stuff like that. And I sit there and I watch their videos, and I find like the meals that they make and everything. And I feel like, oh, cool, this guy made shrimp tacos. That recipe. Oh shit, this guy found a hack to get fast food that's low calorie. So again, those are my ways that I know I got to find alternatives to eating right, and I gotta go shopping. I gotta cook and everything. I follow you on Instagram, so I already got you on there and everything, and I'm gonna share that link to everyone else so they can find you as well, and kind of see some of the meals that you prepare and you work with and everything. And you said it perfectly. It's just finding what foods are out there and just alternating it in any way to make it a little bit more healthier and lower carbs. I think it's fantastic. I'm a huge supporter of low carbs. So I feel like what you do is what I need to do, and it goes all back to what I said. I think me and Chris had the same path. He's just probably about 4 or 5 years ahead of me. So both in age and in his journey, because you're old and I'm so young. So I can't take that away from you there, Chris. But dude, I'm happy for you. I am, and I'm so glad you agreed to do this. I know when I told Hunter, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have Chris on the show. Like, yeah, dude, he's getting around everywhere, and I'm like, don't take this away from me. Damn it. God, don't make me another person. Jesus. You have a show coming up July 22nd.
Right.
We don't know who you're facing yet because I haven't booked it yet. It's gonna be epic though. It's gonna be a great fucking match.
I know there's a lot of potential opponents out there. It will be good.
Yeah. Well, one of the coolest things too, and again, like the whole SCW school, the high voltage stuff is like, because you guys are running both the high voltage matches and the main card matches. And that shows a lot of trust in people saying like, hey, let's get Chris, his high voltage match, but let's also get him in a tag team with real quick, punitive damages. How much fun are you having with that?
That's amazing. That was something I had thought about too, with the character. I was like, how cool would it be to, not just do this character, but if we could do like an evil law firm type thing. And I mean, what's really been awesome is it was right when I started wrestling. That's when Eric Schultz came into SCW. So it's like, awesome. We got another lawyer. We can totally do this now.
Mm-hmm. I think I met Eric right around the time you were like maybe in training. I think it was a few months before he showed up at SCW, and he was a lawyer gimmick, and I loved it. The suspenders, the arrogance, all that shit. I'm like, this dude, I love this dude, and great in ring work and all that stuff. And when I found out that he was coming to SCW, and I found out what your character was going to be, and I'm like, I don't know if they're going to be put together, but I hope they do. And then Hunter said that he said you guys are going to go together, and then you started out with the Sheik and VIP and everything. A good heel faction. VIP's not in there anymore. He's going to go do his own thing, but you still got the Sheik. You get that veteran experience in there. But I love that you guys are together, and I love that you are a faction in SCW. I still tell Hunter every chance I get that you guys need a heater, and That's a muscle guy for anyone who doesn't know wrestling. You need a Diesel, you need a Sid. I think that'd be solid. I don't know if it'll ever happen or not, but you are currently the SCW High Voltage Champion, which means you are my champion, and I couldn't be happier than I couldn't be happier with that. Dude, I really don't know how to end this, just because I think I said how happy I am for you over a dozen fucking times. But tell everyone where they could find Warren C. Freiberg III Esquire on Facebook.
Yeah, so that's the page. Warren, WARREN C. Freiberg, FREIBERG the third, Esquire. That's my public fan page. Anybody can like that, follow that. I post the promos, the matches, just try and post some funny memes and stuff at least a couple times a week. It's a decent page. I've found a little bit of growth just from random people out there, so they do seem to be enjoying it at this point.
Perfect. You wanna do a wrestling promo real quick? You care if I put you on the spot? Give the people.
I mean, what are we doing? The title match coming up here, July 22nd.
Yeah. Give me a promo. I want a Warren Freiberg promo from the High Voltage Champion, talking about his next title defense, but not knowing who his opponent is yet.
Travis, there is no need for me to defend my title July 22nd in Shabans. I have already proven myself. I have beaten Meat Hooks. He's been in that business for 20 years, and I still put him down in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. Everybody saw it. Then I was forced to defend my title in this ridiculous battle royal against 20 people, beat a bunch of accomplished champions like James Creed, JPH, Odinson. There is no reason for me to defend this title any further. I could just sit back until maybe one day the SCW Wrestling School produces somebody who's a worthy challenger. So, but if I really have to, okay, fine. We can do this. You can put somebody out there against me, against my legal brilliance. But in the end, I will take them out with the closing argument, and I will still be your SCW High Voltage Champion. I rest my case. How was that?
God, Tara, if you aren't hot and bothered by that, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know how he does that.
It was funny. So it was last summer, the first day, because we do promos at practice every now and then, but not that often. Yeah. And it was. I think Jordan was there, and Jordan goes out there and he does an awesome promo as always. And there's a couple other guys who don't train anymore with us, went out there and we're terrible. And Hunter was like, all right, go and do the promo. And I just, I needed a couple minutes to think about it, went out there, and he's like, yeah, that was pretty much perfect.
Yeah. Dude, man, you have everything you need to be a great heel, and you're showing that, man. And the fact that you could walk out to SCW and it takes you like 5 minutes just to say a word because the booing is so aggressive. Like, Tara, how do you feel watching your fiance get booed mercilessly? Oh my God, poorly speaking here. How does it feel seeing your fiance get booed so badly at SCW?
I think it's hilarious. I boo him too when I'm out in the audience.
I mean, looking at him, talking to him, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But everybody in Shabans and Mantino, nobody wants to hear this dude talk.
Yeah, I'm like, just let him talk, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm ready to smack them all. Come on, just let him talk. But yeah, I get it.
I think my favorite one was it might have been your first shot or second shot at Steam Hollow, where the boos were so bad, Steve had to tell everyone, "Let's hear what he has to say."
Yeah. I think that was a Shabans actually, but
was it Shabans? Okay,
it got that bad that eventually he did have to step in.
Yeah, it was, dude. It's fantastic. And I know this is only the beginning for you. I'm happy for you, and I do appreciate you taking the time out this morning to talk with me. I know doing Saturday mornings aren't easy for everybody, but I appreciate you being here. And Tara, I'm glad that you're a part of this too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Right. It was painless, right?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. Thanks. Good enough is what I strive for, Tara.
Good enough.
Good enough. But I do appreciate you guys coming on, and I'm going to post you guys both your social medias. I'm going to release the show tomorrow morning, so anyone who didn't get a chance to be here on the live can go back and listen to it, but it will be released tomorrow morning. And I'll post you guys' socials as well. Tara, if you ever do start doing the video part of it, let me know, and I'll share that too, because like I said, Chris, he busts his ass to achieve his goals, but there was always somebody behind him to get him through it, and I want that person to be acknowledged as well. So, absolutely. So if you ever decide to do the video stuff, let me know. I'll share it. I have like 9 different social medias because I don't know why. And I can post it across all of it. So I do appreciate you guys coming on. Chris, thank you for sharing your journey with me. I feel like we bonded, and now I can say that we're friends. Now we're
good. I thought we were friends before.
Well, I didn't want to put you in a situation where you couldn't get out of. So I wanted to leave that door open for you if you wanted to leave.
No. I like that we're friends.
Oh my God, I love you people. You guys are so wonderful. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Again, thank you for coming on here, talking with me, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, thanks, Travis.
Take care. All right, guys. I love talking with Chris and Tara. They're both wonderful people. Chris's journey definitely inspired me to do better. And I'm capable of doing it. Like I said, a lot of people sit there and think that age is a reason they're not losing weight. Motivation is a huge part of that, and even though I'm not with somebody, I just got to find a way to motivate myself. And I do have support of my friends and my family. We all out there, we may struggle with weight loss, and we may not be able to think that we can overcome it on our own, but it is possible. And you don't have to have a wife or a girlfriend in your lives to make that something. You just got to find a reason, and that could be a friend, that could be family, that could be God, however you guys want to look at it. Just find your reason to do better and to be better. And I think if we all come together, we can achieve it together. So I have social media. You guys can reach out if you're looking for motivation. I want it. If you guys want it, I'm here for that as well. So thanks again to Chris and Tara for coming on the show and talking with me about his journey and about her support for him, and her, learning about food for him is so incredible. I'm going to go do some shopping myself and pray to God I don't come home with a pie. So, guys, make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, just by searching This Freakin' Show. Make sure you go to Freaknet Studios on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when those videos are coming out, because me and Cartoon Joe are going to be doing more videos. Sorry, Joe couldn't be really a part of this show. He tried his best to, but unfortunately the quality of the technology or the location he was at wasn't the best. So he'll be back with me next week when we record our next show. And of course, you can find other shows, including this one, on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean, just by searching This Freakin' Show. Make sure you hit the notification bell wherever you do listen to your podcast. And if available, make sure you give us a 5-star rating and a review. We do appreciate it, guys. That's all I got. So as always, I am Travesty, and thank you for listening to another episode of This Freakin' Show. I'm out.